Rick Esserman.
Harrisman.
Right. Today's the day that he's presenting his first speech to the group, the Icebreaker. His goal is just to get in front of the group, tell the story, and make his mentor, Michelle, very, very proud. You hope you enjoy, and you're not terribly bored by the time he's finished. That's just not going to happen. So I present Rick Harrisman.
Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members and guests. I've always thought that experience is the greatest teacher in life. It is through these experiences that help shape who we become in life, our views on the world, and how we interact with each other. If you ever get stuck in an elevator, you probably hate getting into one because of that bad experience. And then conversely, you may love going to amusement parks because it reminds you of when you were a kid and how much fun you had when you were there. Today I'm going to speak about 3 experiences in my life that have helped make me who I am and give you guys a better chance to get to know me since I've only been in the group a few short weeks. I grew up in a town called Rockaway Beach, which falls under the jurisdiction of New York City, but couldn't have been more different than what you normally think of when you hear someone comes through New York. You know, tall buildings, the hustle and the bustle, Times Square, crowded streets, etc., etc. I like to refer to Rockaway as a small town trapped in a big city. Rockaway is a peninsula bordered by the Atlantic Ocean and Jamaica Bay on the other side. It is a laid-back beach community in which everyone knows one another, and if you don't know someone, you probably know 10 other people that you know them. It is a place where kids can ride their bikes in the streets, stickballs played in the local schoolyard, and barbecues going from spring to fall. My home sat 2 blocks from the beach, and my summer vacation was spent soaking up the sun, learning how to boogie board and surf, and playing baseball in the local Little League. Growing up in this type of environment and looking back on it taught me the value of a strong community, being able to depend on other people, and fostering strong bonds with family and friends. From there I moved on to Florida State University, which was definitely one of the greatest experiences of my life. No, we didn't win any national championships, but it was fun nonetheless. I found that I was going to Florida State Christmas morning of my senior year in high school. When we were done opening presents, my mom came and handed me an envelope, a present wrapped in the shape of an envelope. Oh. I'm thinking, cool, I'm getting some cash this year. I open it and see it's a letter from Florida State, and thankfully it was an acceptance letter, because if it wasn't, my mom and I would not be speaking to this day. I said it was a great experience because I went there not knowing anyone. I had left all my friends and family back in New York. Now this would probably scare most people, and I'll be honest with you, it scared the you-know-what out of me. But it was something I felt like I needed to do, get me out of my comfort zone, which is kind of why I joined Toastmasters. While there, I met some great people, including 2 of my best friends, whom with all the moving around that we've done have remained best friends, and we're actually in each other's weddings. And speaking of weddings, Florida State was also where I met my wife, which is also something that was completely unexpected. College was definitely one of the best times of my life, with all the tailgates, parties, drinks, and laughter, and the occasional class or 2. It was something I never would have experienced if I hadn't done something that I was uncomfortable with. After college, my wife and I moved to the Bay Ridge section of Brooklyn, New York, to pursue our physical education teaching careers. She ended up working at a high school in Staten Island, and I at a high school in Manhattan. At first, living in Brooklyn was a lot of fun, and we took full advantage of our new neighborhood. We went to all the different restaurants, bars, and clubs. My wife was actually introduced to what real pizza tastes like, not whatever it is you guys call pizza.
Deep dish.
On the weekend, we would hang out at the park, you know, weather permitting, of course, because it was New York and you couldn't do that all year long. Then after about 2 years, the nuances of everything started to wear off, and the dregs of city life really started taking its toll. I had to commute on the subway back and forth to work, which at first was kind of fun. But then it became a real pain. Every day was a new adventure. There were delays, you had the smelly guy on the train, crowded trains and having to stand an hour after a long day's work and working kids out. My wife fared no better. She commuted by car and worked in Staten Island, like I said. She had to cross the Verrazano Bridge. And with that Verrazano Bridge carried a ridiculous $11 toll round trip, which she had to pay every day.
Oh my gosh.
But that wasn't the worst part. There was the parking. Now in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, there's apartment buildings pretty much on every single block. Very few had garages. And if they did, you had to pay a little hefty sum to park in them. So what we had to do, we had to park on the street. Very rarely were we lucky to find a spot on our block. Most of the time we would drive around and usually have to park a couple blocks away, which, you know, can be tiresome when you got groceries and different shopping and stuff like that. My wife was especially not happy with this, considering she had to, you know, drive and go through this on a daily basis, especially after hard days of work. So I made sure I had a nice glass of wine when she got home. To top it all off, we also lived in a very old building with problems an old building brings, such as bug infestations, not being able to control your own heat, old appliances, and to my dismay, no dishwasher. So we stayed there for 2 more years. Why, I don't know. I guess we're gluttons for punishment. From this learning experience, we realized we needed to get the hell out of there and get back to the Sunshine State, where we could park a car in our driveway, pay a few small tolls along the 408, and visit our first love all year long, the beach. So all in all, I have had some positive and negative experiences through the years, but without them, I wouldn't be who I am today, and for that, I am eternally grateful. Thank you.